Hey everybody, it's your girl Tanya Lady T, and yes, you stopped by my channel where I love sharing my passion for fashion and many other things. Well, y'all, I'm going to come in and do a different type video. I guess I can label this as hot topics, stuff that's in the news. And I'm just going to go ahead on and disable the comments because I'm really just making a statement about what I'm going to be talking about, not to create any type of banter or draw any type of argumentative spirits, if you will, to the actual video. But I did just want to speak on this one thing that went down today. Of course, you know what's been in the news is about Beyonce lip syncing and how, how could she do this? This is the inauguration of the president. All these different stories, of course, and I'm sure you all have heard all the different stories that's swirling around. Did she really sing? Can she sing? So it just opened up a whole gamut of stuff concerning Beyonce. And I'm going to be honest with you, we all know what that is. We don't even have to say it. It was the president. It was his inauguration. And any kind of negativity they can draw to take away from this, again, pivotal moment in history, the media is going to do it. But anyway, I did want to speak on the fact that the angle I'm coming from, I'm going a little bit deeper. Because to me, I think Beyonce is a beautiful woman. She's good at what she does. She's an awesome entertainer. I do happen to like her music. And so that's just me. But what I like is the woman's integrity and her and how classy she is. And what I mean by that is that on this day, she declared and proclaimed, this is who I am and this is what I do. Now, some people may call it to be a little arrogant, but she did it with a smile on her face. And so I look at it that she was slow to speak, because all these reports came out, even, when she was pregnant. Oh, she ain't pregnant. She's too vain. She wouldn't have a baby because she don't want anything to happen to her body. Just all kinds of foolishness. So anyway, fast forwarding to this. They've dogged her out. They've now put into question, can she really sing, this and that and the other? But if people, and see, this is the tug of war that people or celebrities or people just that are in the limelight period have, that tug of war concerning the media. Because honestly, come on now, it was learned, or I don't know if people know this, but Whitney Houston, the famous rendition she did that was so popular that people still say no one has been able to top her, guess what? She lip synced that national anthem too. Just check it and go get the research on that. Oh yes. But of course, it's Beyonce, and because she was singing at the president's inauguration, so y'all know what I'm trying to say. So again, what I liked about that particular moment, she had the press conference concerning, her Super Bowl, preview. And before she even got any type of question or anything, she walked out there, beautiful little white mini dress, took that mic, turned it up, and sang the national anthem raw. No track, no instruments, nothing but her God-given talent of singing that national anthem. Now, people may not like Beyonce. They probably don't have nothing for her. But my angle that I'm coming at is, and I thought about that as a Christian woman, as a woman in general, when the enemy coming for you, you have to lift up a standard. And the enemy and the media and all them, they can be your best friend, or they can, again, be your enemy. They came at that girl like a flood. Or I should say that woman. They came for her. They were on her heels, nipping, causing questions about the very ability of her being able to perform or being able to sing. And so when somebody begins to come after your very livelihood, when somebody begins to come after you to destroy you, you've got to be in the council of good people that say, don't jump out there too soon. Be slow to speak. Don't jump out there. That's what they want you to do. They want you to go out there and immediately pounce. Because you figure now a person that you know that's what they do. And you know in your knower that you're good at what you do. Everybody ain't gonna like you. We understand that. Everybody ain't gonna like your type of music. But for those who do like your music, and for those who continually buy your records year after year, or every time you put out something, and you know that you have something to offer in that entertainment area. Okay? When somebody challenge, you know you want to jump out right then and there and get everybody told like you ain't never got anybody told before. But as I'm watching, and I have watched how, you know, people dog her out over the years, how they talked about her baby, how, you know, Jay-Z and her are gonna have a baby, and they did all them, you know, come on, they talked about how that baby was gonna look, and I'm gonna be honest, y'all was playing Lord, please let that baby come out looking okay. Be honest. But anyway, and I had to repent for that. But what I'm saying is, look at how people gonna come for you in general. It happens right here on YouTube. But what did she do? She was slow to speak, and she said, okay, when it's my opportunity to speak, I'm gonna speak. When it's my opportunity to act, I'm gonna act. So I love the way she did that rendition of the national anthem the very same way that she recorded it and sang it at the inauguration, removing any doubt. Because now, remember now, that very thing, and people know, and who have followed Beyonce, the media knows, when that woman goes out and performs, 99% of the 99.9999, I'm like Maury Povich, 99.9999999% of the time, Beyonce performs live. There's no question that she is normally a live performer. But she let it be known to them, listen, it was an emotional day for me. This was about the president and his inauguration and the weight of that. I didn't have time to you know, she said, I'm a perfectionist. I just didn't have time to rehearse with the orchestra. I didn't have adequate time to do sound check. All that goes into being a singer. Okay? And she let it be known, I'm a human. She said, and so I look for things to be done a certain way. And if I knew that I can't do it, then I always have you a plan B. And that was her plan B. She said that's just what they had set it up to be. She said, I rehearsed till my feet bleed. She said, I've been rehearsing for the halftime show and just did not have adequate time to perform this live. So she said, yes, I pre-recorded and sang over the track. Now, let's think about that actually. She sang over a track, but it was her own voice. So what? So what's the big deal? It's not like she was singing to a track and Whitney Houston's voice was coming out of it. Or she didn't pull a Milli Vanilli. Y'all remember back in the day, Milli Vanilli? We found out, you know, girl, we know it's true. Ooh, 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 I love you. We found out that wasn't even them singing. It was two other jokers. Now that was the pivotal moment where people, you know, really frowned upon lip syncing, because then at that point people weren't really sure, is that really them? See, that's what that whole bubble right there brought on this lip syncing, you know, drama. But concerning Beyonce, let's be real. For those who are her fans and people in the media period that know her voice, they know what her voice sounds like. I mean, let's just be real. But anyway, outside of all of that, she got up there. She sang that song flawlessly. Her voice didn't crack to the left, to the right. She sang it. And then at the end, here, y'all ready for this? And for all who've seen that, when she finished singing, she had a smile on her face throughout that whole song. And at the end, she said, "Thank you." And she sort of laughed, giggled, and said, "Is there any questions?" That's how you do it. That's how you do it. When people are coming after the very thing that's how you going to feed your family. That's how you going to raise your child. When people cause that to come into question, you got to either do it in an ugly way or a classic and integrity way, like what she did. And I said, Beyonce, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I thought about that. I said, you know what, God? That is so awesome. I said, now look at that. That's how God will do even us in the household of faith. He said, I will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. Did he not lay that table out for her enemies to see? You got a question about who I am? You questioning what I do? She even said, I was born to do this. I said, girl, you better tell it like it is. And I thought about, that's how we have to proclaim. We have to, there's a famous saying, I can show you better than I can tell you. And that's the truth. So even as Christians, we have to stand boldly and proclaim who we are. You want me to answer to, oh, I'm a fake, I'm a phony, that ain't me singing. Guess what? I'll put all this to rest. I can show you who I am. And that's exactly what she did. She didn't get up there and try to be nasty and say, well, come on, y'all. Didn't y'all look at my world tour? Trying to do a plug here and plug there. No, she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to do that. She got on there and she sang with her God-given talent and put them all to shame. Shut them up. Shut the mouth of the enemy. You know what she did? She went to the enemy's camp. She stood before and went to the enemy's camp and took back what they tried to steal from her. Because see, for a minute, they thought they had stolen it from her for about a good week since the inauguration. But guess what? In one day, she went back and snatched back what the enemy took from her. Yes, she did. And see, when I look at stuff like that, when stuff like that go down into me, I go deeper. I don't look at, ooh, she did it all, think she all this, all that. No, I go deeper because, see, there's a lesson to be learned. Because the Lord, when you read, and I hate to get, I'm not trying to get all deep, but when you get into the Word of God and you see when He say, the kingdom suffers violence, and you got to take it back. Let me tell you something. When you see the battles that have gone down back in those days, and when the Lord gave an instruction, kill off everything, don't let nothing breathe. Let me tell you something. That's how it is in this real world. I think about Mariah Carey. She had blown up, done everything. She sang like a mockingbird, songbird. Beautiful. What happened to her? She did that movie Glitter, and the media slaughtered her. They sifted her like wheat. But she responded in a bad way. She got defensive. She began snatching microphones from reporters who were asking her, well, what are you going to do, Mariah, now that Glitter's a flop? Or so all that pressure came upon her. And so her response was horrible. So she was out of the scene for a while. And then I think she hooked back up with one of them producers that got her career back on track. And she's doing fine. So when somebody's coming after you like that, the best, I looked at it the way she responded. I'm not going to go tit for tat. I'm not going to do what they did to me. I'm going to just stand flat-footed, or should I say, again, stiletto-footed, and do what I do. That was to me, that was such a powerful lesson and statement, because I thought about, I said, that's what God wants us to do in the spiritual. That's what he wants us to do. Don't cave in, don't fold into what people say to you, because guess what? I look at it like this. If you want to better your life, if you want to strive to be the best you can be, and I understand that some people are going to be afforded more opportunities than you because of timing or whatever the situation. But again, you have to believe what God has for you is for you. If I know I serve an awesome God and everything belong to him, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, why in the world will I be jealous of Sally Sue over here? Because if, in all honesty, you know what the Lord told me? He said, you know what? You got the same 24 hours. That's all you can do is what is within one day. Do what you can do. Be the best you can be in the day that you are in. I got the same 24 hours as the next person. In the current day. The same 24 hours. But if you choose in your 24 hours that has been granted to you, or whatever the Lord allow us to see and go through in a day's time, there's 24 hours in a day. God gives us both, anybody, all of us, if he don't take us home to glory, or our time is up here on this earth, you are afforded the same 24 hours I am in a day. And it's up to us what we choose to do with those 24 hours. So don't get mad at me because I'm prospering and I'm doing this or doing that. And even for those people who hate on Beyonce or any of these entertainers out here, don't hate on these people. We can have an opinion. Yes, we can. We can say, oh, that was not a good idea for her to do that, because now we see, in other words, you can state the obvious. If you high on cocaine, you're drinking drug and doing all that, it ain't a good idea to get behind the wheel of a car and drive, because you can kill yourself, and most horribly, you can kill somebody else. Yeah, we can talk about those things and make comments about that kind of stuff. But for the most part, we are all afforded that same 24 hours. What are you going to do? So again, I know I got all kind of off track, but I just wanted to say that when things come upon you, or the enemy comes at you like a flood, you have to know what standard to lift up. Because if you lift up the wrong standard, you can fall into a demise that can be somewhat difficult to get out of. So again, I applaud. I look at the beauty. I look deeper. I look at the beauty of how she was slow to speak. She let everybody get all their little things out, and she had the press conference. It was pre-planned press conference. This was something that was going to happen anyway, and she took that opportunity to get up there and let the world and remind the world again, this is what I do. I'm taking back what the enemy tried to steal from me. And guess what? Let the show begin. Because guess what? I'm going to be live and remote. God willing, she's going to be live and remote doing the halftime show. So anyway, I just wanted to come in and speak on that. And like I said, that thing, it really ministered to me. I'm not talking about in a carnal way and all that. I'm talking about when stuff come at you like a flood, look at the importance on how you respond. And like I said, she responded with integrity, with class, and then messed around and asked at the end of it any questions. Love it. Love it. Love it. So anyway, like I said, I hate to disable the comments, but I'm going to just disable the comments because I think I just had to put this out there. And like I said, I'm not trying to invoke any type of argumentative or banter. It's just that I think it's important that we know how to respond. And I think she just responded beautifully. And that's just my opinion. So anyway, with that, y'all, I love y'all. May the peace of the Lord be with you. And have a fabulous weekend. Bye.